Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Insomnia stream. I'm James. Together with me, I have Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. You?
Nice. Doing really well, actually. The weather
That's good.
here in Amsterdam is really nice these days, so it's really good.
That's awesome. You had a good unplug weekend. For your context, for the viewers, at Kong we had unplug weekend on Friday, and like starting from the Friday, ending on Monday. So we had 4 days off. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. And it was great. I have to say it. It was really nice. Getting some energy back, is always nice. All right. Cool. I'm gonna try to share my screen here. Nice. All right. So let's see what we have for the stream in our issues, in our pull requests. So we have this GraphQL Prettify thing, which I think we saw the other time. Probably it was you with Dimitri, Mark.
I wasn't participating at that time. Yeah.
All right. So I think we've seen this before, and we went somewhere close to the end. So it might be worth pursuing this and trying to merge it. And then there's not so much. So that's good to see. Like, there's always probably more issues we can pull in here, but it's nice to see that I don't need to scroll to see all the things we have. All right, so cool. I'm gonna start looking at the issue and perhaps like provide some context. But Mark, are you familiar with it?
Yeah. So when you click the Prettify GraphQL button, it only work on the not the variable part, but the actual body editor. We have two panels, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this fix was to act on both editor panels.
Yeah, I see. All right. Okay. Let me start then by, yeah, I remember I added some comments here because some things were not working correctly. But here's Dmitry trying stuff out. Seth says he's gonna look at it later, but no worries, we got you covered. All right, so let's. All right, we also have to resolve some conflicts, so let's try and go there. Let's go to the pull request. All right, I'm gonna try and set things up a bit because I don't have the pull request open at the time. So I'm not sure if I should share all the stuff because I also want to give you a live share link. And I'm not sure if the tokens it shows are private or not. Okay, cool. All right. And we're back on it. Let's see. GitHub pull requests. Fix Prettify. Check out this pull request. I love this feature of GitHub, by the way, where you can just, go to the thing. It seems this thing has been force pushed, and I think it's gonna do the job. Oh. Right, and this is some output that changed just a comment here to point to another place because this package probably has been updated. And here's the juice of the thing, which I think is like all the changes we made to the GraphQL editor. So it appears that now variables are required for the body, like at least a string is required. And we now keep a reference to the variable editor. We initialize it with this function. All right. Cool. We get these things from the settings, and now we use them like that. Intent characters, and then we prettify the variables, and we pass as a second argument the intent characters. So that seems like new logic to me that we should at least try to test. And then this one also expects a string. This one is a GraphQL body. If there are variables, then set the variables. But that's guaranteed to run, right? Because this is always going to be a string. Mark, yeah, what do you think?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I think that's what it seems.
Is there any case this would not run? Oh, I guess if it's an empty string.
Yeah, when it's
Yeah, all right.
yeah,
Sorry.
when there's no variables.
Okay, and then we have if there's variables. What?
You parse it, but you don't assign the value. What?
What is this? That's weird. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I know what's going on here. Before we were doing this null thing when the variables would change. But now we say always go and update the variables because the variables is a string actually. So we get a string. Someone is typing, someone is typing this and they're typing like A. And we get this as a string. And then we say, like, do the thing, put it there, put this string there, like that. And then if it's not empty, parse it because we want to catch the error. And if there's an error, we want to set the state to this thing. But this seems like a hack to me to get this functionality. I think that's why it exists here. I'm not sure if that's the reason. You see what I'm saying? Like I think they're doing JSON parse here to capture the error and then go through the cats and then do this at state. But it doesn't sound like a solid strategy to me.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Cool. Also, we have this neat thing that basically just puts the editor, code mirror editor instance into this components state or properties, actually, because that's a class component. All right. So that's kind of like a ref, but we don't care so much about it. All right. So the two things that I see changed here that we should test is the pretty variables part, where where was it? Um, this thing, the JSON printify with indent characters, and then the JSON parse thing, which I think there might be a better way to do it rather than like trying JSON parse. That's my biggest concerns.
Hmm. Um, so yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, because it's a text editor, so we just want to read the text editor content as a string, and the variable should be actually record string and unknown value. So we need to parse it. When we parse it, there may be an error, and we want to catch that error. Okay, I see. Hmm. I feel
Yeah, I
like that.
mean, in
Yeah,
that case, that is not even needed to be in there.
yeah. I feel like this is a lint error, not. Hmm. Yeah, I feel it feels like this is this doesn't belong here.
Yeah, the other thing that needs to happen is I should probably try to rebase this, um, because there's a conflict. So perhaps we can start from there because
Yeah.
we're gonna face it in the end. So
Hmm.
it might be better if we just do it now, get it out of the way. Auto merging failed. Cool. If we come here and remove the cutter, uh, there's some stuff in GraphQL editor that asks me to merge, but there's not. What? And save. All right, cool. All right, so that appears to be coming from Great PR by Zone, which is enabling strict TypeScript in the app. So I think we need to grab that type, put it here, and just accept this guy. And then probably that's the same. Oops. Yeah. And that should be the same. Yeah. All right. So that's it. It's basically a type issue. I think we
Right.
should be fine. Um, cool. Cool. Christ. All right, so now that that is out of the way, let's move on. Oops. Cool. So indent characters. That's one thing I want to check. And then JSON.parse is another. Okay, for this one, I don't know how you feel, but I think this is doing like two things. One is it just updates this all the time. So I will just split it. So update the body. Handle body change gets a string, and it just sets the state to something. Syntax error. Okay. What? Oh, yeah. This goes in many places. And then it also fires the unchains and the new content, and the new content is distinct string body operation name. Okay, so body is used to the set state. So we basically set an object, and that object now has the new variable string. So that's doing that. Plus, doing other stuff. And then the second thing that happens, in my opinion, is if this thing is not validation, then we want to update the syntax error in the state with the error message from parsing this guy. And if I go here, I can see that. I can see that we do set state, and we set the variable syntax error to nothing in here too. So that might lead to some like crazy race condition stuff, which I wouldn't want to handle. So perhaps we can just put it in there like this check. You know what I mean? Like we can take it out of here, and we can just in here do the check. And do kind of something like this.
Well, I see. In
So
this
then,
case,
like it will set state at the same time for both of these things, so we don't need to care about like sync async stuff. You know what I mean? It's like check this guy, and if this guy has an error, just put the error here. And now that I look at it, like this
put it to
could
the function.
also, this could also be a derived value from the body. So variables is an empty thing that comes from here, and that's exactly the variables we used before to do this check. So handle body chains accepts the variables, and we check these variables. If they're not the thing, we capture the message. Yeah, all right. You said we could try to move this out in a function or something?
Yeah, I think it may be better to you just put that as a function and call it inside this function.
Yeah.
I guess ideally, if this was a functional component, we can just have that in the use effect as a standalone use effect to set the variable syntax error state. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, agree. All right. So we do this, we capture the error, and we set this guy to the error, and we update the state alongside with this guy. Yeah, okay. I mean, this is just basically checking if JSON is valid. So extractive function in the model scope is valid JSON. And it should kind of looks too much for me to do this because I think like just the inline thing it's pretty like we're just wrapping this in a oops in a function, but it doesn't like create something new. We're just putting it behind something, but it's basically going to do the same thing. Perhaps the try cats for the JSON parse, like is JSON could do this thing, but then return true or false. All right. Wow, you're seeing that code pilot thingy?
Yeah, that's really cool.
It just captured what I wanted to do. All right.
So it's a plugin on the VS Code.
Yeah, you need some key. All right. So that would then be we don't need to try anymore. We can just do if not is valid JSON variables. Oh, okay. But we also want to capture the message. So we don't just want to. What is the message though?
Oh, it's coming from error object, right?
All right. So JSON parse. Well, so I just want to check if it had an error definition. Yeah. I'm okay with inlining this because then we're just going into creating our own, like rolling our own JSON is valid JSON mechanism.
Yeah, no problem. The idea was to
Unless you
quickly.
have any other like ideas, we can try.
No,
I'm
it's
not
okay.
against.
Yeah. It was just to make them more indicative that these are what we need to put into the hook when we move this component to a functional component. But it's okay. We can just leave it as is.
Yeah. Yeah, because then like if we want to throw an error through this, I would just name this parse JSON, and if it's not valid, it will throw an error. But then this just loses its meaning. It's the same, it's the same thing.
Sure.
It's good that we tried this one. All right, let me just go back a bit. Remove those things. Cool. All right, so we cleaned this up, and then there was also now this place where it just does this dot body stuff. Right. Well, there's more things like this going on. So string to GraphQL. Okay, that's for GraphQL then. Sorry. So there's a thing that calls handle body taint. Just replaces the query. This one just does. Oh, I see. Because we have like many stuff on the same object in the state. That's our way to like reuse what's there versus whatever. But why is this? Because we want to pass the function reference to the component. So that's why we have this. I was thinking if we could just use this instead of like creating these wrapper functions. Cool. All right. And then there's also this one that we should try to test. Cool. By the way, do you get access to the shared debug session?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I have
That's cool.
variables, watch, call stack. So I think if you put breakpoint, I will be able to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, let's try. Yeah.
All right. I also want to check out. Okay, this one is now not blocked by these things. Oh,
Oh, cool.
all right. So let's make a request collection. And I want to see what Dimitri tried. He used this API. So let's make a new GraphQL request. I really like this. Why is this randomly stopping there? Rick and Morty. Okay, so one of the issues we have is, as you can see, this one defaults to an empty string, where it should be an empty object or nothing.
It should be nothing.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense to be an empty string. It doesn't allow you to send stuff. Like, let me Let me do that. So variable name of required style was not found. Let me find something without a variable. Break. All right. So it seems that now we're sending the request because we probably do some tech to not pass this if it's empty.
Mhm.
But I don't like that it's this one as a default. Like it doesn't, I need to come to the editor and I need to delete it and I need to add stuff here. So I think we should try to fix this. JSON parse R. Okay, so we would need to debug this a bit.
Apollo Studio just leaves as empty, like just empty.
Is it
Yeah.
empty? Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's the same for GraphQL. It's just empty. All right. Cool. So, all right, are you ready to go into the rabbit hole of how this gets set to empty string?
Sure.
All right. So I think that's the variable editor. Yes. All right. So this guy
Mhm.
gets initialized with some default value, and that's variables. Variables is coming from here,
Variable objects.
which is this JSON prettify, JSON stringify variable subject. Let's see what it has to say about it. Cool. All right. So if I step below, okay, so variables is this from here. Variables object is an empty string. JSON, the stringify of an empty string will probably do this for you. So what if we did something like that? Undefined or null, whatever will work. Cool. All right. I should clear this breakpoint. And just refresh this because it seems stuck.
Can you disable the breakpoints and just run it through like clean?
Yep, I just cleaned them up, but
Okay.
they
Oh,
seem
you
to be,
just did. Okay, sorry.
yeah,
Sorry,
they seem to be there for some reason.
this web version is a little bit late, like one tempo late.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my laptop is burning out of the streaming and running all the compiler stuff. Cool. All right. Yeah, I don't have any watchers or breakpoints, but I just get stuck here. So probably it's an issue with.
Yeah, because I see breakpoint on my end, you know.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Let's try. Yeah. Cool. All right. So GraphQL editor, this variables thingy. I'll just put one here. So now variables is just an empty string. So when it gets passed, it's cool. Variable types is from the schema. Okay, that's something we shouldn't care. Cool. So that seems to work. I'm gonna try and see like what happens if I add stuff. Okay, that might be the previous value. Cool. What if I use this one? And I do name. Let me remove this. Oh, okay. It seems that Zach joined. I will add you. I need to press this button on the thing on the left. Yeah, welcome, Zach.
I think I'm here now, right?
Yep.
Yes.
How you
Good.
doing?
Not bad. Solving GraphQL problems, huh?
We're doing some GraphQL stuff. Yeah, let's do Rick and do that. We're almost there, I think, to having something work, but it's kind of complicated. All right. So variables is this thing. In our state, we have the body. Oh boy. Now it should be name Rick, and in our state, this the state, we have body, and we have this guy there. Cool. And I can send this. It was not provided. Okay. Could it be that I messed something up?
What's the hypothesis?
So I just tried. We have these variables here that we sent to this editor on the right in a GraphQL request. So we have like the body editor, and then we have the variables editor. The thing is, the variables editor so far would get initialized with this variables object, which could be an empty string. And if it was an empty string, because it was stringified, what the user sees is this in the editor. So that's not something we want to have. We want to have just an empty editor. So I added this like or undefined, and this returns like a, because we stringify and prettify, in the end it's like an empty string. So now if I just do, oops. Right. Oh, so if I do, if I do a bad JSON, we can see unexpected token thingy in position 3, which is fine. Like it tells us this thing is not what you'd expect. If I add like Rick, I can pause here, and you're gonna see that this is now like a string, prettified and whatnot with this guy. Cool. And the problem was that when I clicked in this request and I press send, it says the name is required but was not provided. So that has to do with sending. So I want to check like what happens in the parsing states. So on chains, and then we have this guy. Yeah. Okay, I'm guessing this is happening on the send request, like this issue. But let's see what we sent. Okay, so we sent this thing, which appears to have a name, but I'm not sure if this last T here is valid. So probably like fails because of that. You see what I mean? We're stringifying and sending the variables here, but for some reason it says you don't have you haven't provided a variable called name. But we can see here we just did, and we can see here that this thing I should probably parse it as JSON somewhere. Cool. So we can see that this thing sends query with some stuff, and then it also sends variables with name, Rick, and whatever as a stringified thing. Is that the problem?
Maybe try to like pass that one in the same way, the variable content, in the same way you passed the thing you pasted in there.
Yeah, I would need to do it somewhere in the code though, where this like /t gets added, and I think it's this guy.
Yeah, it could be that that's not valid character in the variable interpreter.
I can try with just nothing.
But it might be a good idea to try to use JSON.parse in the just in the browser console. See if it. I mean, it probably does. Pretty sure /t is just a tab, but
yeah, I imagine the same. But let's see. Let's see if this guy first just works. All right. So removing the T works. Could this be with like how the GraphQL server strips or parses the string we send to it? It could be that we shouldn't send these characters, and it might be invalid. You know what I mean? Okay. So this one seems to fix this, but my guess is like it's probably gonna break something else, because this is editor indent with tabs. So I probably have this option since I'm getting this. Otherwise, I would get.
Can't you also use JSON stringify the additional params to do this like presentation stuff? You know what I mean? You can use those like I think if you put a space and then like the number 2 after a JSON stringify arg, it uses spaces for formatting, and if you use /t, it uses tabs for formatting. Is that right? You know what I mean?
I think that's the case. After the replacer argument, right?
Yeah. That still conflates two things that I think probably are more towards the root cause, which is that our presentation logic is dictating what we send to GraphQL, and that probably should not ever be the case.
I agree.
Yeah. I sent you a VS Code link, by the way, if you want to show anything.
I prefer just to watch you.
Yeah, my initial thing would be like try to understand how this thing is being used, because like there's so many places. Like, is this stored in the database like that? I think so. Is it being used by the editor? Probably, because we have like this intent with tabs. But then when we do the send and we send the request, we probably need to strip this, if it's even the case that that's the problem. Okay, let me try again. What?
So there's also these two other ways. You can see what I'm doing. For indenting with tabs, that doesn't require whatever this is doing. Stripping spaces and replacing with tabs.
Oh, I love this. All right, so that would be okay. That would 4 would be intent editor size.
Yeah, you also probably don't want to pass. You want to pass the JS obj as your instead of indent chars, and move indent chars just to the React component where it's actually presented. You know what I mean? So then we're separating the concern of presenting to user and whatever this gets sent to. Handle body change.
Yeah.
I mean, it maybe not do two things at once as well. I don't want to make things harder for you.
All right, let's try this one. So, okay. So intent character what?
Yeah, I think the can you go to the JSON Prettify definition of it? I want to see what's that parameter. So it's,
Intent characters is T.
This is doing
Okay.
doing the
So
same
this is
thing, probably.
basically what you said here.
yeah.
But you need to pass it like either the T, or how many spaces you want. So that's why they did it like that.
Is there any unique functionality of JSON Prettify that couldn't be replaced with JSON.stringify?
It's formatting without parsing. Code taken. I think JSON stringify will not work with invalid.
So the error handling.
Yeah, because this one is we're passing it a string. We're not passing an actual object. So the difference is this takes a string that looks like JSON
Right.
and makes it look nice. So if I had this invalid thing, I can do prettify and it's going to prettify with whatever I told it to.
I see.
Whereas JSON stringify needs an actual object, and in our case, we cannot represent this. We cannot JSON parse this because it throws an error. It says like, hey, what is this? So I agree. That's cool, but that's probably why we need JSON Prettify.
Okay.
Yeah.
JSON Prettify.
So what's the call stack above handle Prettify? Like what? I think part of the problem is this prettification step is coupled with the coupled with the data we actually send. So
Yeah.
okay, so handle Prettify when we press Prettify GraphQL is triggered by this. Is that it? Also
Correct.
handle key down.
Yeah. So if I have this, I have name, I have break. I can do Prettify, and I can try to send. And this was not provided. I got this issue. If I remove this, let me try to recreate this.
I know this is gonna sound really dirty, but when we send the GraphQL request, can we just replace the string pattern with regex to remove, flash t? It seems like we're digging into something that is not pleasurable to touch.
Well said.
I'm looking at the Insomnia Prettify code, and there's a whole bunch of cases that we're handling here.
Yeah. There's two solutions. One is don't allow for tabs here and just make this be always spaces. I don't like it since we offer like this option to use tabs. Perhaps we need it, and that's the option one. Option two is probably go to send request, take the variables and strip out characters that are not valid.
It's dirty, like really dirty. I don't like it, but maybe that's the cheapest fix right now.
All right.
How does the Monaco will help here? How would Monaco help? Like if we were to use Monaco as a text editor, how will it help?
Here's what I'm gonna try. I want to see this if this works with JSON stringify, JSON parse, etc. I don't think it's a Monaco issue.
No, I mean I understand it's not a Monaco issue. It's a code mirror issue.
Yeah.
I mean maybe not even code mirror issue. It's just like how we Prettify it. But I was just curious because Apollo Studio uses Monaco as text editor, and they're doing the similar thing. So I was just curious, how would this be solved with different text editor? But
yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure if it would change much. Because we would still need to handle this kind of use case. But probably the ergonomics of how it would work would be much simpler.
It seems like we're hitting a problem where Code Mirror doesn't easily allow us to have like a raw form and a presentation form of the data. They're the same thing. And that puts us in a pickle when we want to control like a rendering context, like tabs, spaces, coloration, or some other like meta thing, because then we're altering the underlying data.
yeah, I think you said it right.
I agree. I think this would probably fit nicely in the editor. Like we should be able to pass something like indent tabs, something like that.
Well,
And then
actually,
this,
I have a question. What do you think what should happen? What do you think a user would expect if they set their environment to indent with tabs and then they start using spaces? Should that should that little window there replace everything they do with tabs? Should it let them do what they want freely? Or should it only happen on send? Or those kinds of questions I think expose the problem with this implementation, because none of those things are good, right? But they all happen right now.
yeah.
They all, or at least they all kind of happen by accident, because we're constantly running the on-change handler, which is constantly updating the values with space. Like, is it updating all spaces or just indentation spaces?
That's a good question. Um,
Because when a user selects tabs, I think all they care about is that the text they copy from it contains tabs. I don't think they give a crap about what object we store and pass around, if we can do anything about that. I don't know if we can with CodeMirror treat it as anything but the way it's presented.
oh, look at this. Convert the and can correctly mimic this guy. All right. Yeah, so I think they first try to go like the happy path, and then they do like, if it's not a validation, do crazy stuff. And we would have to dig into how this library works, I guess.
Yeah, I think Jack, what you said about having the separate presentation and the actual data that's being sent, I think that's the good approach that we should really actually take if you want to fix this right.
I think that we're hitting lots of problems from CodeMirror though. Like, we have other issues with hotkeys and stuff with CodeMirror that I'm hesitant to push any further forward if Monaco is still on the table. Like,
Yeah.
why fix bugs in CodeMirror if we're going to get rid of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair.
Yeah, this also shines a light on the general kind of application of our JSON Prettify kind of stuff we have. I mean, it's baked into the language. I think what we could do with is try to understand exactly what additional benefits it gives us, if any. Try and find a way to simplify it, because I think in this case it's just creating more confusion. We're like going back and forth, parsing and stringifying, and sending off to our custom parser, sending off to our custom stringifier, prettifier, whatever you want to call it. And yeah. Anyway, I gotta get off.
All right, I think we have like reached the end of the stream also. So I'll just add a note from the stream to the PR that we need to check the tabs and stuff. And perhaps the second take here is to try to do this stripping out or whatever. Like I also like the presentation versus data separation. So perhaps we can try to see what it needs to happen to get there. Because yeah, we seem to be unpacking a lot of stuff where all we wanted to do was just allow you to prettify this thing. Yeah.
Stalin has been saying some stuff, but I think we missed it. When we stringify it, it doesn't put /t only, /n is put usually, even if we use that.
Yeah, but it seems like we have a different use case here because JSON Stringify requires you to pass the object, whereas the this JSON Prettify, which is out of Insomnia Prettify package, it takes a JSON formatted string and just do the replace magic inside. And Jack pointed out that we didn't want to, probably the intention here was not to parse it because it may throw an error. So
Yeah.
we can use JSON Stringify. Just answer your message, Stalin. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I think we got a lot of stuff to check out for the next time. Perhaps we can also do it in between the streams. Thanks everyone who joined, everyone who watched this. See you again on the next stream.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for all of your support and involvement. Thank you so much.